Hello and welcome to a very special vlog. It is the crack of dawn, by which I mean 8 o'clock, and I've got some guests coming aboard. They're going to be waiting for me in 2 hours' time, about 3 miles and 3 locks in that direction. So let's get a move on. Note to self, you are always guaranteed an early start if you moor opposite a working farm. It's a lovely morning, but everything is cold and very soggy. There's the first lock, dead ahead. I was moored just above it. The lock was already full, so straight in. One down, 2 to go. Second lock of the day. Slightly alarmingly, the pound is so low that as I've pulled up onto the lock landing, I don't know if it's discernible, but the boat is up on the silt and has pushed over sideways slightly. So we'll have to see how easy it is to get back off again when I actually need to go through the lock. No, all is well. I pushed off without incident. So let's get in that lock. And another one bites the dust. It is just a stunningly lovely day. You could not ask for a better day to have guests coming aboard the boat, to experience what canal boating is all about. This is perfect. Regular viewers will know there's always a shot of an escaping heron. There he goes. And this is the third lock before I get to the lock at which I'm meeting my special guests. Lock done. Half a mile or so until Grove Lock, where I shall take POB, passengers on board. Guests and think that they could. It's only Peter and John, the RV Geeks.
Well, look, it's David of Cruising the Cut. Hello,
it's like
David.
dueling cameras going on here.
Dueling cameras. This is what happens when YouTubers get too close.
Meet, yes. There's no handshake. There's just the cameras waving at each other.
None at all.
Yes. Well, it's great to meet you.
Well, it's a pleasure to meet you.
I'm going to put this down now.
I'm going to put this down.
Having picked up the RV Geeks, we are now going to go for what will probably be a 4-hour round trip. With the boat pointing north, we headed up towards Leighton Buzzard, Me at the controls, Peter and John getting their first taste of narrowboat cruising. Turning at the winding hole, we started back into the countryside, so the RV geeks could experience both canal cruising and the joy of working the locks, the first one which I did to give them the gist of what to do.
For viewers who've never tuned into the RV Geeks channel, and can there even be any, this is Peter. Peter, have you been on a narrowboat before?
This is our very first time on a narrowboat. First time we've seen one in person was today. So this is incredibly exciting. We're fascinated by the life, by the way the boat works. And our first impression is that narrowboat just barely captures how narrow it really is. It's amazingly long and thin and beautiful.
And are you looking forward to having a go at steering it?
I'm terrified, but I'm not afraid. I'm scared, but not afraid.
How are you finding this pace of life at 2.5 miles an hour?
It's actually very pleasant, and there is no current, no wake. It's very calm, and as we are going out into a more quiet area, it seems like just having the sound of the engine, and that's all, would be an incredibly soothing, peaceful way to live. I can understand the appeal that this has for you.
And it wasn't long before I handed Peter the tiller, much to his obvious delight.
This is absolutely smashing. And I mean that in the best sense of the word. Not to mock British vernacular, but I don't know a better word for it. It's fantastic. Smashing for sure. Thank you, David, for bringing us out here to do this. I can't even express how it feels compared to what I thought. It looked romantic and beautiful and compelling. Watching your videos and doing it is like a dream. Thank you so much. This is so much fun.
We headed towards the next lock, and this time it was Peter and John who wielded the windlass and set the lock for our passage upwards. I brought the boat in, and then the geeks could swing the gates shut and sort the paddles.
Well, now this is the life. When you have guests on board, you can make them do all the hard work. Shutting the gates, shutting the paddles. This is much, much easier than doing it solo.
It was as if they'd been on the inland waterways for years. The phrase "like a duck to water" could have been coined for these two on the canal. In a flash we were off again, enjoying some unexpected sunshine, and before long reached the next lock, where once again Peter and John swung into action.
I have come to the conclusion that everybody should have their own personal RV geek at the locks. They're very handy. Perhaps they could be cloned. This is John.
Hello.
John, how are you finding your narrowboat experience so far?
It's incredibly soothing. It's really marvelous, and like Peter mentioned, narrower than it seems on film. I think the film puts at least 10 inches on. It seems incredibly thin.
Could you see yourself ditching the RV and getting a narrowboat?
We've already talked about it. I think one of the only things that's keeping us from doing it is that everyone keeps asking, since all the other RVers have all started moving to boats, whether we're moving to a boat, and we feel we need to stay committed to our platform of choice at the moment.
Now, in a moment, I'm going to hand over the tiller to you.
Uh-oh.
How do you think that's going to go?
Well, I think it's a 50-50 odds that we'll end up in the bank. I'm not much of the driver, so this will be interesting. You'll have to report back.
We'll find out in a minute. It will all be filmed.
Stay tuned.
Needless to say, John was a dab hand, steering the 56-foot-long boat with ease and confidence, and a look of hilariously grim concentration.
Heading now into the third upward lock of the day. We'll turn round and go back the way we've just come after this. Now I've got both the RV Geeks up there helping me. Leaping across the lock gates like sure-footed mountain goats, Peter and John could both, I am sure, apply for the position of volunteer lock keepers with the Canal and River Trust, which maintains the canals. With the boat raised gently to the next level, John could push open the lock gates, Peter choosing to film for their version of this vlog, which you'll find on the RV Geeks channel and to which I have left a link in the video description below. This was as far as we'd get on our afternoon jaunt, and there's another turning point just round that corner, so I took the boat out and did a quick U-turn. We've now turned around and are about to head back the way we came. While Peter and John operated this lock, by the time we got to the next one, things had changed a little. Keen viewers will notice that's not me at the helm of my boat in the lock. No, that's an RV Geek. And both the geeks are proving very adept at boat handling. And if you thought John had a look of concentration when steering earlier, Peter was also taking no chances coming out of the lock.
David. It's been a pleasure.
What an absolute pleasure to have them aboard. I had no qualms whatsoever handing Peter and John the tiller, and we had a fantastic day. Well, at least I did. But what about the RV Geeks?
Marvelous. Marvelous.
I feel like if I said anything other than I'm incredulous at how much fun it was, I'd come off as trying to be snarky about it. I don't even want to minimize it by joking about it. We've been watching your channel for so long and had this idea of exactly what narrowboating would be like and feel like, and
it felt like we stepped into the frame of one of your videos today, and
it was so much fun. It was so much fun, and I can't thank you enough for not only taking us out, but for having the confidence in me to let me actually drive the boat by myself into and out of the lock, and I feel relieved that I didn't do any damage.
I'm just disappointed that you didn't drive away with it, because this was our opportunity to get a narrowboat experience of our own.
I thought about it. So you're lucky we're still standing here and you've got the key.
Tell me best bit of the day and worst bit of the day.
Oh, best bit of the day.
Well, my best bit of the day is easy. My best bit was actually coming into the second lock alone on the boat and coming through the single door and threading the needle like I had already seen you do. And I never expected that anyone would come in or out of the lock with just one of the gates open. I expected that they were simply both open each time. And the fact that I saw you bring it through and then you let me do it, I'm like, this is
confidence.
Cool.
That was a good moment.
Yeah, that was a really good moment. And so that was very fun. Thank you for letting me do that. That is the highlight of our whole trip, I'm sure.
And the worst part was the demerit.
Oh yeah, I got a demerit because I was just a bit of a wise guy and thought I could perfectly dock the boat every time, and I didn't get close enough.
No.
That's better than getting too close, right? Boating is not a contact sport.
Contrary to what we've heard.
But we had so much fun, and
it really was marvelous.
If anybody is thinking about narrowboating, which we have been, we've talked about it for quite some time, that we would love to do a vacation where we would come and do what you're doing, which is to explore the English countryside by boat. We now are like, yeah, we want to do this.
You failed miserably and did not scare us away from that whole idea.
And you did
not.
See us
again.
You did not get me in the water, which I know you were trying to. I know you wanted to see me fall in the water, And my proudest moment of the day is the fact that I am now
still
standing
dry.
here and I'm dry.